What's up, everybody? We're on a podcast now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about Resident Evil Requiem. I had forgotten that today was never really supposed to be like the biggest day of all time. In fact, I think they had said prepare for like not too much. I think they said they weren't going to show anything brand new. I think there's actually some new screenshots out there if I remember and if I saw correctly online today. So today was actually, I think, a much bigger day for Resident Evil Requiem than many had thought. They did a whole kind of look back video that went over the history of Resident Evil. That was really cool. I think many Resident Evil fans aren't going to need it, but I think really cool that they just did it in the first place. Pre-orders are now open, but they just announced all these different collaborations, all of these. Obviously, you can pre-order it, so we need the editions for this game, and I think pretty consumer friendly. I think we've seen other companies kind of push it. Not to say Capcom has never pushed it, but I think this, in terms of what you get and the price range, it's pretty darn good. So I want to go over some of the bigger things that we had gotten from today. So the first thing that I saw is this Steelbook. Now the Steelbook, to my knowledge, is actually the most expensive of all of it. I think it's $89.99. So I think it's $69.99 for the base, right, for just the standard edition, $79.99 for the deluxe edition. Now, the deluxe edition is the one that comes with the costumes, 5 costumes, including a Dimitrescu costume. The Apocalypse one, I think I saw for Grace, that looks super cool. But you have just several things. You know, it's a pretty okay $10 more deluxe edition. I also don't think they're pulling, many games have pulled the whole $10. You play it 2 days early, you play it 3 days early. I don't think that's in any of these kind of things. The screen filter Apocalypse thing is pretty freaking cool, but pretty sizable, I would say, deluxe edition. And then again, the premium Steelbook is $10 more than that, but I believe comes with everything plus the Steelbook. I really like Steelbooks though. I have only maybe like 2 in my entire collection, maybe 3. I want more of them, so that's really, and I like the cover art of it, so I really like what we're doing there. So in addition to that, and not really in my wheelhouse, but still cool they're doing a Fortnite crossover. I believe they just said like around the time of the game. I don't think they gave a specific date there. It's going to get a Pro controller for the Switch 2. That's kind of fun. I like when controllers do things in general. Doing it on the Switch is actually an interesting one. You would think PlayStation or Xbox. I'm big in PlayStation, like having as many of these DualSense controllers as possible, but I really, really like that. And it's also getting a Grace Amiibo figure coming in the summer of 26. So a little bit staggered. You obviously get the game. Fortnite thing kind of happens around there. Some kind of tie-ins that you'll be able to earn or whatever, watching on Twitch, all that jazz. You'll be able to do that stuff around the game, and then you'll have to wait to the summer kind of to complete the collection, with all of the stuff. They also said that early next year, they're doing like a Resident Evil showcase, what you would think of as these classic showcases where they're going to go over the gameplay, the story, all that jazz in a more kind of sit-down form. So that's one that I think would be pretty impactful, to be honest with you, because I've seen people already asking good old Dust Golem, like, okay, you can pre-order it. They're doing all of these skins. They're doing all of these filters, and there's no Leon whatsoever. So what's going on there? If you were to do that, and you would do it before the game comes out, early next year in a Resident Evil showcase where the whole point is giving us lots of info on Resident Evil, that would probably be the best time to do it. But overall, pretty cool. I honestly thought we would just be able to pre-order it starting today. You can, but also you have all of this. You have some future things to get excited for, accessories, controllers, all that jazz, a couple different editions of the game. As far as I saw, I don't know, are they doing, you guys can maybe let me know in the comments. So we kind of have the Steelbook is like a deluxe edition, right? I mean, it's kind of just the deluxe edition, but physically, and then it's as a Steelbook, which is a step up because oftentimes you'll just get a deluxe edition that's just a case, right? Just like the basic case. But we don't have, as far as I can tell right now, like a collector's pushing it $200, $300, $350. I will say a good idea that I'm just going to float out there. If you wanted to go big, you wanted to charge people a lot of money, by the way, a statue. Now, I think like Last of Us did it once with like Joel and Ellie. I think Last of Us Part 2 did it. You know, you can go expensive there. To do a collector's edition and you charge like $300, $250, whatever you want to do. And to have a statue of Grace and Leon would be pretty freaking cool. And I don't think, I don't even know if they're doing a collector's edition this time around. It would be kind of crazy not to, because people will do it. Heck, I think some people close to me might even do it. But you also, just to throw it in, you'd have to know Leon is coming in order to, you're not going to announce Leon through a statue, through a collector's edition item, right? So that's just throwing it out there. You could do a statue of anything else. It doesn't necessarily have to be Leon, but just kind of coming up with some stuff for their marketing team if they care. But yeah, pretty big day. So we'll continue to monitor the situation. I'll be around, we'll watch the Resident Evil showcase, and heck, depending on when it is, maybe we can do a live stream on it. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.